All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is my third episode with Conversations with DJ, and today we have here Callan Michael Dawson for the people that don't know. And yeah, bro, I'm super excited to have you here. We obviously go way back, probably 2013 or so.
I'd say
And
so, yeah.
yeah, and I've known you for about 11 years. But tell us a little bit about your story, right? So maybe not so much about when you were 2 or 5, but maybe when you started playing baseball and went to college and all that stuff.
All right, yeah. Um, Pretty much grew up in a tennis family my whole life. Both my parents played tennis for a living, coached tennis, but for some reason never let me play tennis. So I grew up playing grew up playing baseball. Maybe I wasn't coordinated enough or something, but yeah, I ended up going to San Francisco State, played ball there. Um, I think I graduated in 2014, and yeah, I think 2014, 2015 was when I first started playing pickle. My parents, whenever I'd come home, spring break, Christmas break, my parents would be out there playing pickleball. So I kind of just messed around doing that. Yeah, maybe played 3 or 4 tournaments a year, but it was all just temp nets, taped lines.
Yeah.
There was no pro scene, so
I remember.
yeah, it was kind of brutal. But I think then I was making no money. I was broke, so I did the whole work on an ambulance. Worked up in L.A., Orange County on an ambulance, and went the whole firefighter route. And I'd say maybe a year into that, the whole pro scene started to take off. So I loved pickle and wanted to take a gamble, so quit the fire department and started playing full time.
Yeah, I love that. And to just kind of go back to, I think it was the high school days. Was it high school or was it college when you started your bong water business?
Oh, geez, that was in college, senior year.
Mm-hmm.
The bong water business. Yeah, so I so it kind of looked like this actually. Me and my dad actually started a company where it was called Peace Water. You put it in your hookah, your bong, whatever you want, and you use this water instead of regular tap water, and it cleans your glass while you smoke.
Yeah.
So yeah, that actually took off, did well. But I wanted to be a firefighter, and I was too paranoid. I thought they would not hire me if I sold bong water for a living. So I ended up selling that to my business partner at the time and went that route. But kind of wish I never did. The guy's crushing. They just got like a full-on freaking manufacturing plant, automated bottling machine. So every time I look at that Instagram, I get kind of sad.
Yeah, I was gonna say because obviously, I mean, throughout the years, I mean, I believe you don't do it anymore, but throughout the years, like smoking has gotten a lot more popular, right? I mean, now it's obviously legal here, and everyone basically smokes weed. I know you don't, I don't. We play pro sports, but yeah, I guess that was my next question: is where did that business go? And it sounds like it probably went a little too well to the point where you get a little sad when you look back at it. But do you have any regrets?
No regrets. I'd say it was kind of it was a learning experience and taught me a lot about business and how to start something from the ground up. And a year or two after that, me and my dad kind of licensed out and started Pro Kennex Pickleball. So a lot of the stuff I learned doing that kind of helped grow the Pro Kennex brand. So I'm stoked for it, and I have no regrets at all.
Yeah, were you once you sold the company, do you make any profit out of that?
I did make some profit, so it was nice. So at least I didn't go negative.
Still broke.
Yeah.
So right now we're still broke. And did you end up reinvesting that money into Pro Kennex, or did you buy a new Tacoma with it?
I definitely bought a new Tacoma with it, but no, I took some of that money and just kind of used it to help buy my first house out in Vista. So it was a plus.
Did I ever go to Vista? I know you had a couple different houses out there.
I don't know if he ever came to that house or not. Maybe stopped by and dropped me off a coffee or something, but I don't think he ever checked it out.
What year was that?
Jeez, I think I bought that maybe kind of at the beginning of COVID, maybe.
Yeah. And then you moved from there to the one next to Bobby Riggs, and that one I definitely been to spend that one night there before we drove out to Vegas together, a little road trip action. And then now you're actually on the other side of Bobby Riggs, but that one's sick. The one that you're living at right now,
the first one I was renting. That one was kind of like a makeshift crack house, right, where I still had Mabel, the big dog.
Yeah, and you were living with Chris Miller, right?
Yeah, living with Chris Miller. He was in the shed in the back. I think.
Yeah, yeah. You guys had this room right next to the living room with a weird door in the middle. I'm pretty sure it was, and you can kind of give like 3 steps down, and then it was like a basement sort of thing where
Yeah,
Chris Miller
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
And then he would never. I don't know if you guys had an arrangement or what, but he would never go through the living room. He always went through the side door, which is just fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you start pro. So you basically start pro Cannabis with your dad, or you guys. You said you licensed pro Cannabis.
Yeah, so that was my parents were sponsored by Pro Kennex forever, just through tennis, maybe 20 years or whatever. They were always kind of play testing prototypes and helping out with some paddle playability, racket playability. And we asked them to start coming out with some pickleball paddles, and they weren't interested. So I think they were at the time either going to maybe sponsor me to play pickleball or allow me to do the business side with my dad and run the pickleball division. So obviously I chose that option, just figured something long term after I'm done playing pickleball, I'd still have a source of revenue. So that's kind of how that came about.
Well, I think in my opinion also, like, you know, because I known your dad for so long, it's really cool and almost like odd that you have been able to do all these things with your dad, right? Like not all of us get that opportunity, right? So like, you know, from starting the Bong water with your dad to playing pro pickleball back then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
With your
I guess
dad.
when I first started playing, I was playing with my pops.
Yeah.
In a lot of the tourneys. Yeah, we made it to who did we? Yeah, we made it to the finals. I think in Nationals 2015.
I watched that.
That's crazy.
You guys were shaking and baking for the first time ever.
Yeah.
That was sick. And then you could always hear Jennifer on the side. You're like, "Let's go, Callan."
Yeah.
So that was awesome. But then again, so now you play pickleball with him. In that match specifically, I don't think you were with Pro Canex because you were playing with an Engage
paddle. I was playing with I think Engage was the first paddle to ever put grit on a paddle. Kind of had that it was a raw, wasn't carbon. It was like raw fiberglass. I think it was the Engage Pro.
Yeah, and then later on, obviously you guys start Pro Canex together. So you've had all these very cool experiences, in my opinion, to share with your dad. And obviously I know Steve and we get along really well. What do you think has been the kind of like the highlight of that for you? Like, what has the best part of your life with your dad, even that you've done all these little different things with him?
I would just say just quality time. I mean, obviously he's always taught tennis lessons. He's always worked for himself. So I just think he kind of wanted me to teach me how to be a little entrepreneur, but through all these different ventures, it was just awesome just spending time with my pops and learning from him. And yeah, I would just say quality time.
Yeah, and then you guys start Pro Canex. You actually ended up sponsoring me. I remember I was working at Sprouts at the time. I was 18 years old.
I think you're in the deli, making sandwiches.
Fuck yeah, I probably made you a sandwich at some point.
Oh yeah.
And then I get this text from you, and it wasn't like, hey, like come over and like work for us. It was more of a how much do you make at Sprouts? I'm like $13.50, and he's like, I'll give you $14.50. And I ended up coming by when obviously knowing you guys all throughout the years. Obviously, there's a way better opportunity for me. We already got along pretty well. And I ended up coming. I quit Sprouts, give him my 2 weeks that day. And then I go work at Bobby Riggs.
At the front desk,
At
right?
the front desk.
Yep.
And then your dad comes up to me, how Steve Dawson would. And he's like, if you shadow Callan and I for 2 weeks, you can start teaching lessons here at Bobby Riggs. And I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. So yeah, I ended up watching you maybe like 6 hours of lessons. I ended up watching Steve, 4 hours, and I ended up giving my first lesson. And then I was kind of working half and half. Right? I was like some of the running open play, a little bit at the front desk, and then doing some lessons. But on the business side of things, how was it for you and your family to turn Bobby Riggs Tennis Club into Bobby Riggs Paddle and Racket? Because I mean, obviously that's the best single-handedly decision you guys ever made.
Yeah. I think it started off as 7 tennis courts, and then just 7 tennis courts. And the way pickleball started was there's just like a random group of like I think it was like 4 75-year-old friends, 4 dudes, who just called us up one day and were like, hey, is it cool if we rent your tennis courts to play pickleball? And my dad was like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but you can do it, but you could do it before the club opens.
Yeah.
Do it at 7 a.m. or something, so you're not bothering anyone. So they would just show up every Tuesday at 7 a.m., tape up their lines, bring some portable nets, and be out of there by like 8:30 or 9. And then after a couple months, they started setting up 2 pickleball courts, so one on each half of a tennis court.
Yeah.
And then let's say like a month or 2 later, they're like, yo, we need 2 tennis courts. So then eventually they started renting like 3 or 4 tennis courts 1 to 2 days a week, and just had a fat crew of people out there. And then my dad was like, damn, I got to go try that out. Started playing, and my dad freaking loved it. And then I think after playing one time, he's like, I'm never playing tennis again. So then we saw they had all these people cruising out. So then we decided Tuesday, Thursday mornings, we would tape up all the tennis courts and then just start advertising it.
Yeah.
And then it was probably, that's how it started. And then eventually we turned the main tennis court into 4 pickleball courts. We finally made that permanent and got rid of 1 tennis court. And then, just slowly started taking tennis courts away as pickleball grew. And then I would say after maybe 3 or 4 years, eventually we went full pickle and got rid of tennis completely.
Yeah, which is insane, right? And then your dad being such a good tennis player, and obviously he's always been playing tennis, and so has your mom. For him, like if you know Steve, for him to say I'm never playing tennis again, like he means it.
Yeah,
He's
100%.
like, all right, I'm fucking done. Like
he said at one time he was done.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, so you and I started, when did we start playing pickleball together?
Dude, probably, I don't know. You started playing pickle for a little bit before I ever played with you, because you were coming out playing with your dad like in those open plays, I think, in the morning.
Yeah.
But probably 2017 maybe?
Yeah, I think
don't know.
17 is when I first picked up the paddle, and then I had, Bob Richland, rest in peace, body bagging me every 2 shots. That was insane. Always.
Yeah.
Well, you be faster.
Be
All right, sounds good. But I when did we win the championships, the World Pickleball Championships? Was it 2021, 2019? I don't remember.
It was during COVID, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was 21, dude.
Yeah.
20 or 21.
Yeah, so for the people that don't know, you were actually number 1 in the world after winning that tournament for a good, 24 hours.
I think it was less than that, dog. I think it was like 18 hours or some shit, because a whole bunch of players got COVID, and Johns couldn't come, and we won that shit, and I was on top for like a day.
I know, literally. We
so
went,
funny.
I know, we went to the ranking, and I'm number 4, and I'm like, I'm not as good as number 4, and you're number 1. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
I don't even know what ranking system that was back then.
Might have been I think it was like global pickleball, global ranking pickleball.
Oh yeah.
Which honestly, at the time, I don't even know what it meant, because there wasn't Duper around. There wasn't. I don't think PPA was around, because that was a major. So we got 2,000 points for playing that. But what would you say? What would you say the highlight of your pickleball career has been so far?
Ooh, highlight? Damn. Dude, I would say that was one of them for sure. I mean, I don't think I've never won like a tourney before, really.
Dude, we hugged.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. I would say that either that one, that tourney, or the lob at match point was pretty sick. Yeah. Played my Pops Nationals 2015. And then I don't know. We also had a good run at PPA back in the day when PPA just started. That was pretty sick.
Yes, I think that was like literally right after COVID, right, or so.
Yeah, I think that was the first tourney back once they shut shit down.
Yeah, and then we had a tough draw. I think we had, I don't remember the first round, but then we ended up playing De La Rosa and Elias Lely, and we won that one. And then we went into playing.
I think we played Colin, and was it Zane Affleck?
Yeah, we played Zane
Affleck
and Colin Johns. We won that one. We ended up playing Patrick Smith and Jay De Villiers. We won that one.
Oh, yeah, we grinded.
Yeah, and then we played Ben and Matt. We beat them in 2, which was like by far supposedly the best team, and then we played really good. And then we sat down. We sat for like hours, and what felt like an entire day.
I know, we got fucked hard, dude. I ate like a 12-inch pulled pork po' boy and crushed 2 Cokes, and then they fucking called our name within like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was insane. And then we ended up playing Rally and Matt, which went on to beating us in 2, I think, and then they beat us in the game to 15. We ended up getting silver. They got gold. But, I mean, really good tournament for us regardless. a lot of good wins. I still have the video of us. Like it was like the side view of us winning the first game 11-7, and I have a different video of us winning 11-4. So every time I get sad, I go watch it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Just to boost the morale a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But you play baseball and you've been playing for a long time. Dude, talk to me about your pickleball grip. I'm sure everyone wants to know why you hold the paddle the way you do.
Dude, honestly, I don't even know. I don't even know if I started playing that way or if it just kind of just happened. But I don't know. I just feel like since I really have no attacks off the bounce. I don't even know how to hit spin. I just fucking grind dinks and like the short hop. So I feel like I like this sweet spot. I like the sweet spot closer to my hand. So that's kind of why I choke up.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Like I've experimented even like using like paddles that have like a tiny handle so I could choke up and then have an elongated face. But I just hate the feeling of the sweet spot being so far away from my hand. But I don't know. I just love to short hop, and I think choking up really makes that a little easier, more consistent.
Yeah. And
it helps me. I don't know. It allows me to get my hand in weird spots and counters and stuff like that.
well, I would say obviously, I mean, just watching you play with how low you get into your squat, right? And then the mobility of your wrist, like you're pretty flexible, right? Like you can do basically, and when you play pickleball, you're basically doing an Asian squat for like 8 hours a day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, where I can't even do it for a second, so I have to stand straight up and kind of like jump around.
That's why I start sweating balls within 30 seconds of drilling.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So what does you've been playing pro pickleball now for years and years, right? And obviously pickleball changes and so do you, but are you training harder now than you were 2 years ago? Like where do you think you're standing right now in your pickleball career?
As far as training, I would say I don't know if I'm necessarily saying training harder as far as like physical output and energy usage like in each session, but I'm definitely training way more.
Yeah.
Like before, I don't know, I'd play once a week, twice a week, and if there was a tournament, I'd train up. But I'd say now probably 2 sessions a day minimum. So it's always 2 sessions a day, anywhere between 3 to 4 hours total. But
On court.
On court, yeah, 3 to 4 hours on court a day. Obviously gym and PT 2 to 3 times a week. But yeah, I just do a ton of drilling, ton of reps, ton of drilling, and maybe play rec one to 2 times a week, maybe, but almost all drilling.
Yeah, so I had James Blake here earlier, and he mentioned that, and you know we can probably both agree that tennis and pickleball are somewhat similar, right? Especially in the footwork side of things,
Right.
Even though you can't close the net because you can't go into the kitchen. But he mentioned that when he was playing pro tennis, like basically every single day he would be doing like footwork drills. So whether it's footwork or just like straight up sprints, like he was working on his stamina, endurance way more than he would his strength, his like brute strength.
Right.
So what are your thoughts? Like what would a perfect day as a pickleballer in training look like to you?
For me, ideally, probably I'd say 2 2-hour sessions. 2 2-hour sessions, and probably hit the gym. But within some of those sessions, some of the drills, I mean, I didn't come from tennis, so I'd say lately I've been drilling with James a lot.
He's good.
Would just be doing drills while working on your footwork and covering the entire court at the same time, which kind of would get your conditioning in there as well. But at the gym, I don't really lift heavy. I just try to lift enough just to kind of prevent injury.
Yeah, so you're probably
doing more high rep. I don't know, 3 to 4 sets, high reps, but I'm not really doing too much weight at all.
Yeah, like you're not quite maxing out. Neither you're going close to failure because you're not trying to build muscle, technically speaking.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm just trying to have enough muscle and keep the tendons and everything strong enough to where I'm not getting injured because we're playing so many tournaments.
Yeah. What do you think your biggest strengths on the court are on a pickleball court?
Ooh, I would say probably, I mean, I try to be as consistent as possible, try to hit the right shot, and hopefully grind out long enough to where I force someone else to get impatient and maybe try to hit a shot that um, the wrong shot at the wrong time. But I would say that, and maybe not getting nervous. I try not to ever get nervous or get intimidated on the court, and no matter whether it's match point or not, I try to play the same no matter what.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, you're extremely consistent, right?
I'm
And
never beating anyone 11-2, 11-3. Like, it don't matter if I'm playing a top guy, I'm playing you, or I'm playing like a guy first round shits 11-6 every fucking time.
yeah, it just
11-7,
always it's
whatever.
just your style of playing. Like you'll never get blown out, but you're never gonna get blown out, right? So like you'll never beat anyone really badly, but no one's gonna beat you really badly either, right?
Right.
Yeah. So throughout the years, you had a lot of different partners, right? So you played some left with Loon for a long time there, and now you're converted more to a right side player, right? So you played with me. We were kind of going straight up. We would talk strategy. We played. I believe we played more matchups than we did sides for us.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you maybe a little bit of a T here, but if you had to rank the number 3 guys that you love playing with, how would you rank those?
Ooh.
Hayden's got to be up there. I love H.
Geez, honestly, I love playing with Hayden. I've been having a ton of fun. I love playing with you because same thing. We've had good runs, and you're one of my main homies, and we're always laughing and having a good time no matter what. Number 3, I don't know. I mean, I've played with random people, but I don't think I've played enough with a lot of random people to really get a sense of how that partnership worked. So I'd say probably you, Hayden, and maybe Loon, just purely off of how well we did.
Yeah, a lot of bronzes there.
A lot of bronzes, and yeah, that was, I'd say, a good partnership just because we did well. But I just playing. I don't know. Fuck, I had to play the left for like a year. Shit was too tiring.
Yeah, the left is interesting, right? Because as aggressive as someone, let me rephrase that. Like Loon is a lefty, so you would imagine that Loon enjoys taking more of the court because his forehand's in the middle. But it seems to me like when I played with Loon in the past, and I'm playing with Loon this year more often, he's actually more of a defensive forehand in the middle lefty, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's kind of why that was interesting because we both, maybe that's kind of why we did so well together. Is we both honestly were super consistent, super patient. We both played the exact same way. But yeah, we didn't create much offense off the bounce. We just kind of grinded, and every match was a battle in game 3. But at least he was able to put the ball away for me.
Yeah, he does have some power.
Yeah,
he does have some power, and he earns really well, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to be playing with him some this year. I've been playing, as you know, I've been playing some right side, and as good as I think I've gotten at it, I kind of want to go back to the left side because I think, in my honest opinion, I have more to offer there. And I don't know how you feel about it, but overall, I think if you play more of the aggressive role, whether you're on the left or on the right, sometimes the way matches go, you have more to say in those matches that you're being more of the offensive person than if you're not, right? So sometimes you can play really well, but if you play a defensive right side role, you come out of the court and like, well, I don't know what happened. Right. Where like if you're playing, most of the time tends to be left side because it's forehand in the middle. And then if you win, you get that satisfaction of like, okay, I think I did more of the work, right? And then my partner was the steady one. But if you lose, it's also up to you, but then you have more things that you can look back on and try to improve from. Where on the right side, something's like, okay, I can forehand think all day and I can kind of counter, but everything else tends to be more up to your partner.
Yeah, and I don't know what the ratio is, but I don't know. There's not too many guys out there, right, who want to get an extended forehand cross-court dinks, right? So you might get one or two, and then a ball gets redirected straight ahead or to the middle, and then goes back to the left side guy. But, I mean, for the most part, left side's getting the most balls, right? So, I mean, if you're getting the most balls, there's going to be a lot of points that I don't know, it's going to come down to you a decent amount of the time, right?
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of interesting too because a couple of years ago, when you had the Kyle Yates and Adam Stone partnerships and Tyson McGuffin on the right, it seemed like at that point the left side player was so much more dominant than nowadays that they actually used to go fully cross court all the time. I don't know if you remember that, but when
Yeah. I remember some of they would just be like cross court battles for days. I
and
I
you
forgot about that.
and then you had like Deco Bar standing like over the middle, just like and then earning from the middle of the court, right? But nowadays it seems like with people getting better and being able to maneuver the ball to certain spots and hitting different spins and different angles of the court, whether it's like depth on the kitchen line or not. It seems like there's a lot more of movement, right?
Yeah, for sure. And depending on who's playing what, right? If you got a left side guy who isn't comfortable dinking straight ahead or dinking middle, then you might see too many extended battles. But with the left side guys getting good at changing direction, dinking straight ahead, then yeah, you get a little more variety and more balls going to the right and back and forth.
Yeah. So obviously you've had a lot of success in the PPA tour, right? So when was the first year that you were offered a contract from the PPA to go and play for them? Because I took longer than you did.
Oh God.
We've been 3 years now.
Well, this is this would be my third year probably.
Okay, so that must have been 2022 then, the first year. If this is a third year with them, you were offered the contract in 2022, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I did. I think it was 2 years, with the PPA, and then, and then the whole new contract stuff that went down.
Yeah. So what made you decide wanting to go with PPA? Because I know a lot of people, including me back then,
Like at the beginning when it first started.
At the very, very beginning, because I stayed APP MLP.
I would say I did it based on some of the partnerships I was getting. Figured, all right, if some of my partners are going to do it, I'll just do it too. So I have some players to play with. And I just thought the PPA was making sick events, and every few months you could tell that the tournaments were improving, the setup, the grandstand courts, center court, everything was getting better.
Yeah.
And they're just putting out more content on social media. So I figured I'll just ride with the PPA. I feel like they're going to do some cool stuff.
Yeah, totally. Do you feel like back in 2022, so obviously you and I have been really good homies for a while, but back in 2022 I played for the Ranchers, and I actually ended up winning one of the events. And at the time,
was that the one at Newport?
Yeah, the one at Newport. And at the time, that must have been like the biggest prize money that you could get individually at any pickleball event, right? So like if you were to think back at it, and you know me, and I don't know where I was living at the time, but I go and play a tournament, which MLP is honestly really fun. We went in the same team, and we'll touch on that. But where you may be like, oh, I wish I could have played MLP back in 2022, or do you not really care about the team aspect of it?
Back then, back then I did want to play. I didn't get picked up, but that was kind of like during that first event was when I just had taken off 4, 5, 6 months because I was having a lot of arm troubles. Yeah. But I think that was a big factor in it. But yeah, the team events are fun. I'm always down to play, and it's just a fun little switch up, right? Because you kind of get locked into the same partners. You're playing the same teams every time at all these tournaments. So definitely playing MLP is fun to mix it up, right? As long as you're not doing too many or one or the other, I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, 100%. So who are some of your partners for this year for PPA? And then we'll get into MLP later on.
This year, I've just been grinding so far the whole year, or started at the end of last year playing with Hayden. And we're kind of, we understood that sometimes partnerships work out, sometimes they don't. We didn't even put a number on the partnership. We were just open. We're just going to keep playing. As long as it feels good, we'll keep grinding it out. And if it doesn't, then nothing personal, we'll part ways. But so far it's been going good, so we're going to keep it rolling.
Yeah, and I think you guys have been doing really well so far. You guys got what 3 bronzes already in the past 6 months?
Nah, no, just two.
Just two.
Two.
It's
I
so,
wish it was three.
dude, it's so hard to get a medal in PPA. But I mean, you guys got the bronze. I think it was Seattle last year, right? Or Denver.
No, Denver,
Denver.
and then a couple weeks ago in
Who,
Minnesota.
who do you beat Matt Wright and Dylan Frazier in the bronze?
Yes.
I mean, that's a sick win. Then move forward, right here in Minnesota a couple weeks ago, you end up getting another bronze medal, and you guys beat Callan Dawson, Matt Wright.
Yeah. And then you before that, homie.
I don't remember. Yeah, but it's going on to the MLP topic. I feel, and we talked about this before, but it seems like singles is very, very valued in pickleball,
Right.
in MLP pickleball. And so to me, when I didn't get drafted into Premier this year, and I kind of understand how these drafts work. I don't necessarily agree with them a lot of the times, but obviously I'm biased because I'm talking about myself.
Right.
But then when you don't get picked up, first of all, we're really good friends. And secondly, I truly believe you're one of the best male players in the world, regardless. So, like, why do you think you don't get picked up? And do you think it's unfair? Because I do believe so.
Unfair. I mean, I don't know if it's unfair. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, men's dubs wise, obviously, I think I'm up. I can compete with the best of them. Mixed dubs. I don't have like, I don't know. I would say on the mixed side, I'm not taking over a crazy amount of court pull and trigger stuff like that. But so, depending on the quality of the mixed partner I get, I think I can do very well.
Yeah.
But it's harder for me like to take over at 90% and just win on my own, right? So, and then singles, but I mean, but at the
really hard
but at the
nowadays.
challenger level though, I wonder what my record is in mixed, but I think it's pretty solid. But but yes, I would say it's probably singles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't play singles.
Yeah, I mean, we played yesterday and you beat me 11-2. So you're obviously pretty good at it. But it's so tough, right? Because when I look back at it, and if we're going to dissect kind of how the draft works, they obviously value singles a lot, which I understand because there's a dream breaker. But when people say, "Oh, like Callan's not a good like," and I'm not saying people say this. This is what I'm kind of like thinking that happens.
Right.
It's like, well, let's look at men's. Okay, Callan's been playing the right side only, right? And you do really well. You're obviously very good at it, but you've also played left with Lung and you've done really well. But it's always, okay, well, he plays the right, so maybe he can't take over. And then we look at the mixed doubles, and honestly, and I think we could both like agree with this, mixed doubles, first of all, is very difficult, but at the same time, the draws are so stacked that if you and let's say Amelia lose to Tyson and Megan, like it's not like you're losing matches that you should be 100% winning, right? So first of all, it's very partner dependent, whether it's the guy from the girl or the girl from the guy. But it's like, okay, it's not that he's not good at mixed doubles. It's that you're not playing kind of like under the same circumstances either, right? But if you when the Masters drafted you for the second MLP,
The Dallas one,
the Dallas one, and you played with Riley,
right?
you had never played with her before, and I believe you went 2 and 3.
I think I went. It was 2-1. I went 2-1 in men's and mixed.
Correct. Sorry about that. I mean, yeah, 2 out of 3. So you won 2 matches out of 3.
Oh yeah.
And you're right, but you had never played with her before, and then now we're talking. You're not playing those premier, like elite players anymore, right? So
Right.
when you look at someone like Tyson that does so well in mixed, like once you go to challenger, it doesn't matter anymore. He's not there.
Right.
So now you have to look at, okay, can Callan be Eric Lang in mixed? Absolutely, right? Especially with the way the draft works. And so I guess that's where I think I get lost a little bit in the drafts, because to me, a lot of the times it looks like it's very dependent on who you know and not necessarily in how good you are all the time.
Yeah, I mean it could be a mixture, right? It could be who you know, who you want to play with, or it could be a team owner or a team manager trying to pick the team, and maybe they don't know the players very much. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of combination of everything, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And so, yeah, later on this year, what we have, so we're going to Houston. We're flying out tomorrow. You're playing with Hayden.
Yep, playing with Hayden and Caitlin Christian in Houston.
Oh, nice. Dude,
Yeah.
she's badass.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I have a couple with her too. And she got drafted to Premier. Dude, she's a freak in singles.
I know she's stud for sure.
Like she moves so well. Like she's so fast. And then Los Cab with Hayden and who?
Los Cab. I'm playing with. Yeah, I think I'm playing with Hayden and Amelia again.
Okay, nice. So it sounds to me like you're kind of trying to keep it a little more, maybe not as hectic as like last year would have been. Last year had a lot of different partners, right?
Yeah, last year was all over the place, I think.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Year.
We had one, I think, or maybe two. And well, we did okay in Beer City. We ended up losing to Federico and Pablo in the back. So do you like to play? I know you're with Hayden for a little while, but do you like to have, like, how do you like to build your schedule when it comes to a partnership? Do you like to do like, okay, let's go until we don't want to anymore? Do you like to set up a year in advance, 6 months?
I feel like it used to be like you try to book out for the year because everyone was booking out for the year, so you felt like you had to find a partner and lock it in, or else you'd be left out to dry. But I feel like now people switch around a little more, or people are making 2, 3, 4 month commitments instead of full year. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I prefer to play with the person long time if you think it's the right fit. Pickleball's tough, right? So, I mean, I don't expect to get a medal or get to a semis every single tournament, right? So, if you're, so me and Hayden were just like, yeah, let's just keep playing and let it ride until it's not working out, and then we can go from there. But yeah, we didn't really set a number on it. But hopefully it lasts the full year, which means we're doing well.
Yeah, and I mean, as good as he's getting too, it could very much get there. What do you think? So you mentioned, like, obviously you're not going to get to the semis or finals every single time or get a medal, but what do you think your game is missing to feel like, okay, I can get to semis consistently, or I can get to a finals consistently? And how do you work on it?
I would say for me, it would be I don't know, because I would say some of the matches that I've lost, they've been tight, they've been close.
Mhm.
I've actually lost a few matches where, I think, I lost one, I think, where I was up maybe 8-3 in game 3 against Lang and Navertil. I lost this last match. Me and Hayden lost to Jaume and Augie, who played awesome. We were up, I think, 9-3 in game 3, maybe had 5 match points. I would say for me, it would just be like focus, and just kind of staying in the moment and not pressing, right? I mean, sometimes when, I don't know, start thinking about random shit when I play, so I gotta dial in. I think it's mainly just focus and locking in and just playing the same way in those final crucial points as you were to get there.
Yeah. And what do you think makes a really good partner? So like when let's say you play with Hayden and you play with me, what are some of the things that you can do, or, for anyone out there that's watching this, to make your partner play better, right? Because that's huge, because you can bring people down. Not you, I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
It could happen to where if I'm playing and I'm upset and I'm like maybe mad at my partner, like it's not gonna make them play better, right? So what are some of the things for everyone out there, or maybe us, that we can do better for our partners, whether it's mixed or men's doubles?
I would say, I mean, I've kind of learned a little bit. I mean, I'm still learning, but just this past year playing with Hayden, I kind of realized is honestly the most important shit is just literally having fun and trying hard. So I always tell Hayden, like, dude, I don't give a shit if we win or lose, as long as we're fucking having fun and we're fucking grinding and trying our hardest, and everything will take care of itself. So I would just say good communication with your partner and making them feel comfortable, whether you win or lose. If you're being a douche to your partner and not making them feel good, the guy ain't gonna play any better.
Yeah.
So I would just say, yeah, trying to have as much fun as possible and making your partner feel comfortable on the court. And then obviously there's that fine line of being able to critique or tell your partner what they need to work on or what they're doing wrong, but in a tone of voice or a way to feel like you're being chill about it instead of
Yeah.
being like condescending or passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's always shit that both people need to work on or do better at certain times.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, like you were saying, communication goes a long way, right? And communicating in a way that you're not pointing fingers at your partner, right? It's really easy to like, okay, I missed 3 shots, but forget about those. You missed this dink and it was 9-9, right? And what people tend to forget is that we got to 9-9 for a reason, and I might have missed 7 shots before, like, but I don't remember. And then, but you missed the dink at 9-9 and we lost. So then it's like, I feel like you can find people pointing fingers at each other, especially at the end of the match. But it's always it's a whole sample of like 1 game to 11, or the 2 out of 3 is like, okay, how do we even get there? What actually happened?
Who cares if you missed a dink in the net at match point? It doesn't mean it's your fault. Like, shit, I missed 3 dinks earlier in the match, which all was part of the reason why we lost. But yeah, I don't know if I talk to my partner after a match, kind of break down what we did, what we need to get better. I usually try to start off with, yo, I messed this up. I think I always tell my partner what I think I need to work on and what I did wrong, and then maybe let them go from there and let them bring up what they think, and then maybe I could tell them what I think. But I usually try to start off with all the things I messed up on first, so it doesn't seem like I'm pointing fingers.
Yeah, point your finger at yourself first.
Yeah, always.
Dude, it's really funny. I always tell this story about you, and I didn't know you as much back then, and you know this story obviously, but I'm walking out of Rick's. I think I was done playing tennis. You were in like this unbelievable shape, and you were all vascular and shit. And I'm walking out, and your head's like maybe not completely shaved, but it must have been like what, a 1.
It was probably a 1,
A 1
a
on
1 or
top.
a no guard.
Yeah, and you're just like jacked. You're just walking up to Bobby Riggs, you're jacked, like veins everywhere. And I walk by you, I'm just kind of like scrawny and skinny, little. And in my head, I'm like, dude, that's the coolest guy ever. But yeah, that's interesting. And how do you think, you know me for a long time, so how do you think our friendship has evolved ever since like the first time that you met me at Bobby Riggs to this day right now?
Yeah, I don't know. When I first met you, I don't even know how old I was, bro. I was probably just out of college or something, and you were what, like? You were like 13 or 14, so I just saw you as just a little homie taking tennis clinics from my dad, right? But yeah, I just saw you as just a random kid taking tennis lessons. But then obviously, as time went on and you started getting older and playing pickle, and we started playing with each other, you just became one of my closest friends. And yeah, fuck, I feel like you're just as old as me.
I know. I look like I am.
Yeah, maybe older.
33?
32.
32. I look like I'm 37.
Yeah.
Do you ever wish? Obviously, I don't know if anyone here knows, but you have a younger brother.
Yeah, I do. I think he's 30, 31.
I don't know.
I'll report back later.
Yeah, but do you ever wish that he took pickleball like you did, and then you guys could be like training together and playing together? I mean, he was really good.
Yeah, he was really good. I think we actually, I think we got a silver at TOC one time.
Yeah, I think there's a YouTube video out there.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, obviously, it'd be super sick if he took it serious and we got to play more tournaments and spend time together. But I know he loves pickle. We still play pickleball every now and then, but he's never been super competitive. He just loves rec and having fun and playing. So, I mean, it is what it is. But obviously, it would be nice if he played pickle full time. Could spend a little more time with him.
Yeah, and just from like a little bit of a kind of like a little bit selfish standpoint too, is like he was really good, and so it'd be really good for us too to be able to train with him.
Right, exactly.
Because sometimes here in San Diego, obviously beautiful place, like you can't find anywhere better to live at. But we have 6 to 7 people that are like pretty good, but nobody is like, I would say your brother, if he's practicing, he's like better than all of them, right? So it's like us two, and then it gets a little bit lower when it comes to practice. So you and I try to, practice as much as we can, even with our tight schedules. And then we try to make each other better, right? Like you can ask me about offensive stuff, and then I can ask you about defensive stuff because I suck at defense. But yeah, it'd just be good to have somebody like your brother, really good vibes, and that was that good at pickleball to be around. And I still remember to this day working at the shop of Bobby Riggs, and he'd be there, not be there, so we just like play some games on the computer.
You guys play video games all the time, huh?
We used to.
Fucking nerds.
Yeah, we
Love
used to. Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was really funny because it would be like, okay, well, there's nobody in the shop. The phone's not ringing. Let's play some games, bro.
Yeah.
And I actually don't even know why he was even there. But yeah, what do you think? Like nowadays, there's so many different levels of pickleballers, and there's so many ways of playing pickleball. If you had to vaguely summarize what would a perfect pickleball player look like, with maybe dropping in some names and stuff, like when it comes to speed, maybe a forehand, like how would you describe the best pickleballer out there?
Ooh, like, question is, who do I think the best pickleball player is, or what like attributes I think would make up a good pickleball player?
What attributes would you take from professional players to make the best pickleball player? So let's say Jaume's speed. You need to be a lefty, maybe, because that side lacks a lot of. I think righties and lefties, just like Ben said, would make the best combo eventually, and I think they already are.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, some of the best things, if you could put it all together, like, I mean, you just brought up Jaume, so we'll talk about him, but just the quality of his drives, right? But he's also got really soft hands, right? So if you could have someone who can drive a ball that consistently and always set yourself up for a good fist shot, that'd be great. And I have a lot of respect. I don't know. I have a lot of respect for resets and mid-court play. So people like Colin Johns, Riley, right? People who
Not me.
aren't. Yeah, you're getting there though. You started bending your knees a couple months ago, so you'll be on that list soon. But just the ability to hit a drop, even if it's not perfect, it's a little loopy. Who cares if it lands if it's high and lands in the kitchen? But if you can not be in a rush and go to the mid-court and be willing to wait 3 or 4 shots, right? So stuff like that, good drives, good drops, the ability to reset well, be patient, and not be in a rush to the kitchen line. I think too many people try to force themselves into the kitchen line and do a little bum rush kamikaze action, but just to take your time. And
Sounds
then,
like me, bro.
yeah, and then dinking wise,
Yeah, who do you think has the best style of dinking?
ooh, that's a tough one. I would say what I value the most in dinking is not necessarily how much spin you hit on it, or obviously I hit no freaking spin, but like, because I think at the highest level, whether you hit a good roll or a good slice, for the most part, people are good enough to respond and hit a good dink back. But I think my favorite skill at the kitchen, what I like to see in people, is the ability to hit the ball in as many different places as possible, right? Like you go cross court 1 time, go down the middle, go up the line, go cross court 3 times, instead of some people who are just getting stuck hitting slice backhands for 20 shots in a row.
Yeah, and I think within that, and to add on top of that, it would be especially for the amateurs, right? Like it's not only just middle or cross or line, it's also like the depth of it, right? Because you could dink in the kitchen, you could dink really shallow next to the net, or you could hit it closer to the kitchen line, right?
Yeah, and I guess that depends on who you're playing, right? So it's like, I don't think you should always only try to hit deep balls in the kitchen, right? I mean, if you're playing someone who's long, who can reach in and flick, then I'm gonna hit shallow dinks. But at least I'm gonna test out every player I dink against. How deep of a ball can I get away with without getting attacked, right? So you got the depth. You can break down maybe dinking cross court, but if I'm playing you, I'm dinking you cross court. But if I go too far out wide, I'm gonna open up down the line speed ups, and the speed ups through the middle with your forehand, right? So I might dink cross court to you, but I'm going to dink more your body or maybe your inside foot just because I'm too scared of your attacks, right? So you can go from, instead of just cross court dinking, figure out how far out wide or what foot you want to dink to kind of take away people's attacks, right? So you can kind of break down dinking into a million different ways, really.
Yeah. How many tattoos do you have?
I just have 2,
Which one?
not as many as you.
You have a chest one, right?
I
What does
got
that one say?
I got a chest prison tat that says "Forever Standing Strong" that I got was 18. That's getting faded, and
Yeah.
then I got this one. It's like a wave and a flower that I got on some homie's couch, like in college.
Well, it wasn't one of those like poking, what
No,
stick
no,
and
no.
poke
Stick
or whatever.
and poke. Yeah, no way.
Jeez.
That shit hurts.
I know we've always talked about, especially because when you met me, I didn't have any tattoos, and then I obviously slowed down. But we always talked about like, oh, dude, like that your shin looks fucking awesome. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get one. You never did.
No,
What do you think is stopping you from getting tattoos? Because I think they would look sick.
I fucking love tats, dude. I just feel like I'm too impatient.
Can't sit there for
I
3
can't
hours.
sit there for too long. It takes too long.
Yeah.
If it could be instant, I'd be blasted. But it's like, fuck, I don't want to sit there for 5 hours.
Yeah, it is a long
One day,
time.
though.
Yeah, then you also like when you sit for too long, dude, like you get this gnarly like tattoo fever sort of thing, like tattoo sickness. Like I remember one time I got my shin done with Billy. And he's awesome. And then I go back home and I'm like I have to shave the rest of my leg because I'm not gonna have just like my shin, not hairy. I need to
Right.
like shave both my legs. And I felt so sick after staying there for so long. I went into the bathroom. I go turn on the shower, and I started cramping and shit. Fell out, and I'm like, getting like hot water into everywhere, and like
Right.
dude, it was so bad. I started cramping. It was
That's
awful.
insane.
Yeah, and I'm literally like sick. Like I have a fever and shit. And, like my legs are cramping. I'm trying to shave. Like
No way. I never heard of that before.
yeah, when you sit for too long, it does happen. Yeah. What would you get done if you could just like have something instantly?
Jeez. Honestly, I don't even know, bro. I don't know. I'd have to figure it out.
Yeah. Would you get a face tat?
No face tats. I don't know. I'd probably just get some shit on my forearm, maybe on my shin or my leg, below the knee. I don't know what though.
What would be your ideal sponsorship?
Ooh, ideal sponsorship. Either clothing or like I don't know, like some recovery shit or like energy drinks. I fucking love coffee and energy drinks. Maybe a coffee shop sponsorship so I could save money instead of buying 2 lattes a day.
I know. Dude, I went to coffee with your dad, and he was like, I only go drink coffee when I have cash, and I always have cash.
Dude, he
That was
bought a
funny.
new car the other day, and I don't know, I think he sold him his old like 2010 Tacoma,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, all right, dude, your shit's dirty as fuck. You got to clean it out before we take it, dude. He had $500 in ones and like fives just like in the glove box and under
That's
the
insane.
seat and shit. It was crazy.
Dude, that's like the most Steve Dawson thing ever.
Yeah.
It's funny, like when it comes to cars for you, I feel like I've known you for 10 years, which I have. You've had about 12 different cars.
Fuck, more than that, dog. Maybe
Yeah.
like 15.
So why is that? Why do you buy so many different? Well,
Dude, I fucking love I love cars. I love trucks. Don't matter how fancy or how much of a beater it is.
yeah.
But I don't know. I just love going on Craigslist and buying shit that's used that I could drive for 2 or 3 years, put a shitload of miles on it, and then sell it for the same price or more. So that's usually why I do it. It's not, I don't know.
But you're a truck guy, though. You like
Yeah, I
trucks.
love trucks. Love trucks.
Because your dad always had a truck, or why?
Maybe he always had trucks, but I don't know. Fuck, always going to the beach or throwing my dog in there, dog beach, surfing or whatever. So I just feel like fits the lifestyle, and I don't have to get my shit all dirty. I just throw in the bag.
Yeah, that's true. You're a surfer. How often do you surf right now?
It varies. I haven't surfed. I've probably only surfed one time in the last 2 months, but if the waves are good and I'm into it, 4 days a week, sometimes twice a day. It just kind of depends.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's tough. I feel like if we're always with all these tournaments and contracts. I mean, if we're trying to put 4 hours of pickle on the court, go to the gym, PT. Sometimes I get a little lazy to go surf.
It's tough. And I mean, I've never done it, but obviously I have you as a friend, and I have a lot of people that surf, living in San Diego, and they're always tell me how physical it is.
Oh, dude, it's insane, dude. So it's like if I don't surf for maybe 3 months, if I don't surf for a couple months, like I literally feel like, I mean, I'm not a 5.0 surfer, but let's say I was. If I don't surf for a few months, I feel like I drop down to a 3.5, 4.0. You have to build up your stamina again, your paddle strength, and figure it out. So like for me, if I don't surf for a while, it might take a solid week of surfing before I feel back to like where I was, and it's exhausting.
Yeah, and you would say it's like a different sort of like endurance than pickleball would be, right? Like because it works different muscles and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a lot of core. I mean, it's really full body, right? I mean, you're using tons of core. You're using your legs to generate power when you surf, and then you're paddling. But yeah, the arms, shoulders, arms get so toasty. It's crazy.
Yeah. If you, I feel like for right now at least, like Premier is out of the picture for the both of us. But if you if you were gonna get picked up by a challenger team, what team do you like the most? What team would you be a part of?
To be honest, I don't know a single player on a single team. I haven't even looked, but I'll fucking play for anyone. I don't
No,
give a shit.
like owners wise, if you know any.
Ooh, I don't know, man. I'm just down to play. I don't really have a favorite team
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah, I still think you'll get picked up as
Wish I
soon as
did.
like some wires go away. But yeah, no, I ended up getting picked up by the Black Bears, and obviously, like I mentioned before, like Jimmy Miller's hilarious, or one of the owners, Richie, and they're always taking care of their players. So super super excited to be in that team. And then if I ever have some form of say, I'll pull your name out there.
That'll boy.
Yeah, dude. But what you mentioned you know maybe some sort of like drink or coffee shop to get sponsored by. Which one?
Oh,
Clothing? Which one?
ooh.
Wait, were you with Leo Reaver? Are you still with Leo Reaver?
Yeah, I rock their compressions. I love
Yeah.
rocking compression shorts, but I was kind of kidding about the coffee shop shit, but
Celsius though. You like Celsius?
Celsius is pretty good, and there's this new drink you should check out. It's called Gym Weed. It's like an energy drink, but it just has like a whole bunch of like nootropics, a whole bunch of like mushroom
Mm-hmm.
blend stuff in there, which is pretty fire.
Is it still an energy drink?
It is an energy drink. Yeah, it's got like, I don't know if you've heard of like L-theanine, but it's
Yeah.
like some compound found naturally like in green tea that helps like lower blood pressure, heart rate. So it's a way for you to get a lot of caffeine and stay awake, but it like keeps away all the jitters and all the nerves associated with it,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. But I don't know, something along those lines probably.
What about clothing?
Clothing, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mainly just rock like Nike stuff and Lululemon, but I'm down for whatever. Florence is pretty sick.
Yeah, the Florence is kind of
Yeah, that
nice.
shit's pretty dope.
Hayden looks good in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What shoes do you play with? Because you had some sort of deal with Lotto for a little while, right?
Lotto for a while, but I mainly just wear Asics, dude. Asics Gel Resolutions.
Mhm.
They last a while, and I like Adidas a lot too. But lately, I've just been rocking Asics.
Yeah.
Too superstitious to switch.
If you obviously you're on the road a lot. You also, if people don't know this, obviously you play about every tournament of the year,
Right.
unless you're like injured or something, which doesn't happen very often or ever right now because you know obviously taking care of your body. But you go to places to train, right? Like you go to Utah between tournaments, or after if you have a weekend off, you go to Utah and play with Utah people. I think you came to Texas a couple times. So that's a lot of traveling. How do you manage the traveling? Well, the business side of things, while traveling, playing tournaments and stuff, with your personal life when it comes to like family gatherings, birthdays, maybe girlfriends or anything like that.
I mean, it's tough, dude. It is what it is. Obviously, traveling that much puts a hindrance on all of that. It's just what we signed up for. It's part of the deal. But you just have to put in extra work when you're in town, right? I mean, obviously, we're traveling for tournaments. Sometimes I'm traveling just to train, right? Because we don't always have the best pickle available in San Diego. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys doing it, and just gotta do some overtime and just put in a little extra work when you're in town.
Yeah, absolutely. How much value do you think there is in playing against people that are always like, better than you or around your level? Do you think there's any value in playing with or practicing with somebody that's like a 5-0, even though you're like a 6'5"?
Yeah, I mean, there's value. I think there's value in everything. Obviously, if you can always play premium quality pickleball with the guys we compete with on tour. That's awesome. But you just have to figure out the style of practice you like, right? Because there's some guys that are really good, but I maybe don't want to play rec with, right? Because maybe they just have a certain style and it doesn't allow me to work on the things I want to work on. But how I kind of do it is in San Diego, I train mainly with my pops every day, and then I'll hit with you or we'll play some rec. But I just try to, even if the person's a 5'0", 5'5", maybe they have one skill that is like really good. That might be a 6'0", 6'2", whatever, but their game overall is a 5'5". So I try to pick certain people that have certain skills that I can use to work on, right? So I might hit with one guy and play skinnies with him. Maybe his dinks aren't very good, but his hand speed's insane.
Yeah.
So I'll use him one day of playing an hour of skinnies just because his hands are good and I want to work on some hand-eye.
Yeah.
Or I'll drill another day with someone else who maybe has slower hands. They maybe not super beneficial in skinny singles, but they can grind freaking hard. So I can use him for 2 hours of just 1,000 resets and 1,000 dinks. So I just kind of cherry pick certain people based on their skills of what I want to work on.
Yeah, and for the audience and the people that will watch this, I think a lot of them are confused when it comes to like training, right? Because they don't. A lot of them are like 4.0s or 4.5, maybe even lower, because they don't know what they need to be doing, right? Like they don't know how to get better. So would you say, depending of how good the people you're playing with are, would you say easy normal drills go a long way, or do you think drills need to be like decently complicated and kind of hard to do? Like, what are your thoughts on that thing?
I mean, I'm sure people have different opinions, but I would say simple and easy. I just prefer to get 1,000 reps of dinks, drops, whatever, just so I know I'm consistent, and then just play rec here and there, because there's a lot of shit that happens in rec play that you can't recreate in practice. So yeah, I think simple. I mean, my drill sessions are pretty mellow. If I drill for, let's say, if I have an hour to drill, I literally just spend 10 minutes dinking straight ahead, 10 minutes dinking cross-court backhands, 10 minutes dinking forehand dinks. So right there, I've spent half the session just only dinking.
Yeah.
And then I'll do like 15 minutes of resets, 15 minutes of drops, and that's it. And I just try to hit 1,000 reps, and then I'll use rec play to get, poaching and drives and the weird random stuff. But a lot of times if you play too much rec, you don't get enough reps to really dial in each skill.
I guess like when it comes to one-on-one, you get to hit every single shot, and hopefully if you're aware of it, you're hitting those shots with a certain purpose, right? It's not just about getting it over. And I think a lot of people get lost in that because like, oh, well, I'm hitting cross court, but then you don't see them like, moving back and forth, utilizing footwork and things like that.
Right. Yeah. I would say I would say the biggest thing for beginners working on cross court dinks, literally stand in the middle of your half. If you freaking have to shuffle left to get a cross court dink, shuffle over, hit the dink, and get back to your spot. Whereas I think too many people just freaking stand in the corner where
they're like turned.
Yeah, where like the sideline intersects with the kitchen line, just freaking stand there and hit dinks. Whereas you need to be, that's unrealistic. But I would say most people I see drilling do that.
Yeah, and it's also like what I find, being like a Bobby Riggs person, is that, whatever you're from, people tend to mimic the best players there, right? So when I see all the amateurs playing a Bobby Riggs, whether they're taking a lesson from you or Steve, as good as coaches as you are, the one lesson that they take doesn't override or overtake how much time they maybe spend watching you, right? So they see you, in this squat, maybe not split stepping as much as other people, or taking balls out of the air or whatever, but maybe they don't have the same level of flexibility or leg strength. So it seems like to me, figuring out, whether you're a Bobby Riggs or whether you're at a club in Kansas, you really have to figure out what works for you the best. Like not what Callan does is going to work out for you. Not what I do is going to work out for the next person, right? So I would say that the best beginner tip that I can give, and you can give your own 2 cents too, is that find out what works for yourself.
Yeah, and that's just cherry picking, right? So Whether you're taking lessons or you're watching the top players play, instead of picking your favorite player and mimicking your entire game off of that person,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you just take one skill from each person or coach and you form your own style, right? That makes you you. Um, yeah, I would say when I first started playing, I didn't know what I wanted to do or had a style.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched. I was just watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I literally, like, the reason why I short hop and lob is because there was like old school guy. His name was Enrique Ruiz,
Mm-hmm.
and he literally short hopped every freaking dink, and he hit tons of lobs. I was like, holy shit, that's dope. I'm gonna short hop and hit lobs. So then maybe I go learn something else. Or this guy stops in midcourt and does a lot of resets. So I just kind of cherry picked skills that I liked and I could do from different people, and then just blended it together to make your own style.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And going away from pickleball a little bit, more of a personal question is, what's the best thing that makes what's the best thing about being Callan Dawson, and what's the worst thing about being Callan Michael Dawson?
Ooh, pickleball wise?
No, just away from pickleball, just about being you.
Oh, geez. That's a pretty insane question.
Yeah, just one of each.
I would say, I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty easygoing. I'm pretty mellow. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty content and happy with doing whatever at any time. I usually don't get upset too easily, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if you're always easygoing and not always getting upset, maybe not always speaking up, right? So maybe you're not always taking advantage of opportunities and making sure you're doing what's best for you, right? You're just kind of going with the flow. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. So you would say that within the same answer, it's good and bad.
Yeah,
So that's
good and
that's
bad,
the
right?
best thing and the worst thing.
Yeah.
Huh. See, because I feel like when I worked. No, let me rephrase that. So, do you feel like if you don't speak up and all these things happen, do you like bottle them up and eventually kind of like explode a little bit, or do you always keep them?
Yeah, no, I don't care. I could care less.
Yeah. No, that's good. So, let me go back to living with Chris Miller. For those people that don't know Chris Miller, he's been playing the game for like 30 years, like 40 years.
Yeah, I think his first pickleball tournament was in 1991, the year I was born.
Wow. Yeah, he goes way back. What do you know of him right now? I haven't seen him in years, but I know he was working at Bobby Riggs for you guys a little bit.
He's working at Bobby Riggs for a while. What is he doing? I think he's still doing some NPL stuff. He's still playing tournaments. But he's just always on the road, right? I mean,
Yeah.
before all like the senior players or like the guys who used to play back in the day, right? We all used to play the same tournaments, but now since he got PPA, APP, whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
so many different tournaments, I feel like there's a lot of people we don't get to see anymore.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, I guess I don't know if it's called like AARP or something. It's like a seniors league, right? And then they have like MPL,
Right.
somewhere along those lines. That's cool. I mean, at least there's something for seniors to do while still enjoying the game of pickleball instead
Right,
of like
yeah,
going to all
for
these
sure.
tournaments and throwing money away. What do you think is there for you after you stop playing professional pickleball?
I mean, after pickle, yeah, we'll see how much longer I'm playing. I'm already 32, but yeah, I mean, I would say after pickle, just keep doing the paddle business thing, still helping out my parents at Bobby Riggs, but I'll for sure probably, I mean, I love pickleball. I love helping people out, so I'll probably, I don't know how many hours I'll teach, but
Yeah.
I'll probably go back to teaching clinics and private lessons for sure at Bobby Riggs.
Yeah, and you live so close to it, you might as well,
Yeah.
make more money doing that. Also, like I talked to James about this a little bit, and obviously, as the sport grows and there's more money to be spent, right? So, like when you look at tennis or any sort of team sport, they always have a team around them, right?
Right.
So you have like whether it's PT and a coach or a strength and conditioning trainer or whatever that is, right? Would you ever be interested in you're like, let's say you're 36, you're half let's say your right quad fell apart, right?
Right.
Now there's anything wrong with it, but like if the money is there, what would it take for you to go teach? Not go teach, but go coach somebody on tour, or maybe an MLP team.
Yeah, I mean, if the money was there, I would 100% do it.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty sick. Still in the game, coaching, doing what you love, traveling around, watching pickle. But I guess if I had the time to do it, I would do it. But that would be something I'd be definitely interested in for sure.
yeah, that'd be sick. Cause I always thought, for me, like once my pickleball career is done, which I'm still young, so hopefully not anytime soon, it'd be sick to help somebody else, achieve what I did or more, right? Because it's not like I'm winning every single tournament out there or anything, but it'd be cool to kind of help somebody achieve their goals, whether it's, being number one in the world or whether it's, top five. I don't know, but I think it'd be a really cool feeling to like share that with somebody.
Oh yeah,
Just
100%.
like, we shared winning that tournament together. Um, no, but yeah, I'm gonna thank my sponsors. Obviously, Stack Athletics, wearing their tank top, head shoes. I wear them on court. And then my paddle sponsorship, Engage Pickleball. And if there's anything else you want to bring in, talk about,
And that beautiful phone case over there, keeping your iPhone safe.
a little Darren Young Pickleball, dude, this is cool. I use this,
Yeah, hell yeah,
and I just watch things on it.
sick. But yeah, I was just curious, like when you're done playing pickle, like obviously you'd be down to do the traveling coach thing, but would you be opposed to grinding out, whether it's teaching lessons again or getting like a director job at a country club? Like, what's ideal for you? Because obviously, if you just had a kid, family, obviously traveling and being away is tough.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to working, I am hoping that pickleball is the last thing I'll ever do. Hopefully, I'm 24, so there's a lot of years for me to get like a piece of the pie. I wouldn't be opposed, especially if I don't need the money at that point. I wouldn't be opposed to like going on tour as long as my expenses are paid and helping somebody, right? Like I mean, I don't know who's like somebody really young, like a CJ Klinger or something,
Right.
right? Or maybe even younger, like a White Stone, and trying to help them be the best they can be. But honestly, like right now, I'm trying to be smart with my money, and I'm trying to reinvest a lot of the money that I make through pickleball. So right now, I'm into ownership of 3 rental properties, into real estate, which I'm getting a lot of guidance in. A lot of my money also goes into my Fidelity account, and then whatever I have left, I just like pay some bills with, and go on dates with Courtney, and
Buy bagels every day.
and buy bagels every single. I did it this morning. Glorious Bagel, shout out.
So fire.
Dude, that'd be sick if I got
Yeah.
sponsored by Glorious.
Oh yeah,
Bagels.
I'll rock a bagel on my shirt.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So I'm hoping that if the years that go by end up being good for me, it could be the last thing I ever truly do. I wouldn't be opposed to teaching some clinics and lessons, but I like the idea of like helping like a one person specifically to be the best they can be, because I think when it comes to like a satisfaction level, like you can give a person a lesson and then they can do it for that lesson, and then they might just not do it ever again, right? Like they don't reinforce it in practice because they feel uncomfortable or whatever. But if you're on the road with somebody, um, let's say 20 weeks out of the year or whatever it is, then you can really see this person grow, and it kind of like hits you differently, right? From a satisfaction level sort of things. So I'm not opposed to it. I'm sure I'll do some. But when it comes to a monetary like side of things, I might even at that point I might just want to work like a real estate job or something in
Right.
sales where I can still make a bunch of money. And honestly, I'm always into, and you know me, like I love learning. I'm always asking questions. So I wouldn't mind going to different field that I feel like I can really grow from as well as a human being,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, you got anything else, brother?
That's it, man. This was sick.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go drill. Actually, we're gonna go get some practice done, and then are we driving to Utah together in a couple weeks?
Yeah, we'll go to Utah together. What is that? 2 weeks. Houston this weekend.
Los Cab.
Los Cab, then Red Rock at the end of the month.
Yeah, and then we'll do a little road trip to St. George together, brother.
I love it.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Yep, good shit.